If anything else fails, people want to eat. People can stop buying new clothes, but people cannot stop eating.
This is Dr. Ndhlukula, a Zimbabwean entrepreneur, and she's building one of Zimbabwe's largest animal farms on over 2,700 hectares of land.
If you want to go farming, you need to be prepared to work with your hands.
She founded one of the biggest black-owned security companies in the country and then decided that she wanted to go into farming.
I almost lost my house. I almost went bankrupt. You know what? Look where we are today.
In today's video, she shares a story of how she started from nothing and her journey to becoming a billionaire serial entrepreneur.
It is important for me to share what I've learned. If he dies with me, I've wasted myself. Doesn't make sense.
What inspired farming?
Well, interestingly, Tayo, a lot of people don't know that I started farming before I started the security company.
Oh, really?
Yes, I've been farming on this piece of land for 32 years. Wow. I bought this farm in 1992. I only started Securico in 1999.
Eyes front.
Securico is a business that started from my kitchen table. I was a mother with children and I needed to feed them. I was employed, but I'd always wanted to be a businesswoman from the time I was growing up. I saw an opportunity in the security sector and I said, yes, this is worth exploiting, because then there were companies that were more or less not really living up to the expectations of the market. So I said, if I go in there and provide a service that the market is really yearning for, it should be really a breakthrough for my aspirations as a successful entrepreneur.
What's the size of this land we are on?
All in all, we are farming on 2,400 hectares.
Wow.
However, part of that land we are actually renting from other farmers.
Okay.
My land that I own, that I have title to, is 502 hectares.
Okay.
Then the rest, they are just next farms. There's a next farm, there's another farm 400 and something, another farm 700 hectares. It gives us a total, because of our head, we need a lot of grazing land. I'm sure you saw the head.
Yeah, I was just about asking that, why do you need something so massive? Because that's a lot.
Yeah, because we have got a huge head of livestock that requires a grazing land.
I think this is one of the first times I'm seeing cattle or heads that are this fat and big. They look like they've gone to the gym and they've worked out. What are we looking at now? What kind of cattle is this?
That's a Tuli, which is a pure Zimbabwean breed.
Okay.
And it is now a popular breed even in places like Australia and South Africa, but it originated from here. But it's now an international breed.
So why did you focus on livestock? Because I noticed, you have such a big expanse of land, but I can't see anything that has to do with like crops.
No, we can't do crops because this ecological region in Zimbabwe is a cattle country. And I'm sure you saw we do goats. We do lots of goats. So it's a livestock area. So we focus on livestock because that is what the land requires. If we do cropping, we might not do very well. Yes, we do a bit of cropping, but certainly we grow crops that we utilize in our feed. We can actually ask them to stand.
Oh, you can touch them. Oh, wow. How easy is it to get into this business? Let's say somebody like me now, or a lot of like young people who are watching.
Farming is not for people that are wanting to make money in the short term. It's people that are wanting to go in business for the long haul. Because the gestation period of breeding animals is long. So you cannot just come in today and expect that in a year or two you start making money. It's a business that you need to have lots of passion for, love for animals, and certainly the patience to wait for you to start making money.
When you talk about farming generally, like it's something a lot of youths, a lot of young people like me, we don't really look at farming like that. We want to do the stuff that has to do with like media, tech, but I believe that farming is important.
Yeah.
Like what's your thoughts on the fact that a lot of young people don't see farming as something lucrative?
Interestingly, in Zimbabwe, I've noticed, because as you see, we run open days here.
Yes.
We run even training programs on livestock production. I've now seen a lot of young people coming through.
Oh, really?
Yes, in Zimbabwe. But what I always say to them is, I always caution, if you want to go farming, you need to be prepared to work with your hands. Be hands-on, be in the trenches, as it were. As you can see, I can easily walk around, be in my cattle, understand that that bull is not feeling well today. I can tell it's not feeling well, and I can tell why is it its condition from what I saw last week and now is deteriorated. So all those things are very important. You need to pay attention to detail. That's what I always caution young people. You cannot sit in the office, in the city, and start backing orders to your workers out there on the farm. You also need to come out and see what is happening.
That's awesome, because it's not like that generally across Africa. So you mentioned something about open day, and I saw you having people come in, and you were kind of like teaching them how to go about farming and all of that. Why are you doing that? Because I noticed a lot of people in Africa, you know, when they build a successful business, they try to keep it to themselves and keep the knowledge. Why are you teaching people and opening up your farm to people?
Tayo is for posterity. You cannot have so much that you know and you die with it. This is why they say in Africa, the graves are the richest places. People don't want to share. It's unfortunate that if you don't share, you are actually wasting yourself, because what you know, which would have benefited generations to come, leaving a legacy of your name, you lost that opportunity. So for me, it is important for me to share what I've learned. If I've invested in myself in understanding this business, it's so important that before I die, I need to leave that knowledge, that skill, everything that I know that will help the next generation, the rest of the people, so that there is prosperity in Africa, so that there is always a continuity of what we are doing, and it doesn't die with me. If it dies with me, I've wasted myself. Why was I learning so much to die with it and not pass it on? Doesn't make sense.
How many years old is this one?
It's less than a month.
Oh, less than a month. Okay.
It was born perhaps in the last week or two.
Oh wow, and it's this big already.
How many workers do you have working here?
Just at the farm, Zvikomborero farm employs about 32 people.
Most of the people they are all from Zimbabwe?
All of them are from
Zimbabwe.
Well, if you want a job here, we can give you.
Oh yeah, baby, I might want it, because these cows are looking very, you know, funny enough, I've done, I think recently I've been on multiple farms, and like the more I spend with people like you, I'm actually really inspired. And I'm like, okay, maybe one day I think I'm going to start a farm too. So that's also why I'm also doing this video, to also show people out there that it's actually possible. Even though you said it takes a while to make money from farming, would you say it's a lucrative business?
It is indeed. I mean, look, if anything else fails, people want to eat. I mean, people can stop buying new clothes, but people cannot stop eating.
True.
You cannot go for more than 24 hours without some food.
True.
So certainly, I mean, you know, guaranteed your product will be bought, because people want to eat.
True.
And farmers are the ones that control the food production. So yes, farming is lucrative, as long as you know what you're doing.
On your journey from where you were 32 years ago to where you are now, what were like the most important attributes that you had to learn to be successful?
Farming is, you really need to be hands-on as much as possible. You need to understand. While you can employ people with the requisite skills and knowledge, you also need to know yourself, because you don't want to not to understand the business that you are investing your money in. If you want to do livestock farming, understand, learn as much as you can. If it's cattle, it's about goats. Learn, go to farms where they've done well, understand the issues around what makes the business tick, what are the flags that I should avoid, which direction should be, which business model should I be using. So you need to understand, at what level do I want to operate? If I want to be producing more cattle, what does it take? How long does it take for me to get a bull onto a cow to produce, and what makes the cow produce the level of good genetics that I need? All those things are very important. Understand the skill, understand, have knowledge about that business first and foremost. That is what makes it a successful venture. And obviously, you know, your people that you work with, they should also be schooled about you know, what they are expected to be doing on a day-to-day basis. It's important to know what amount of money do you want to run a beef producing for the whole year, because you don't sell every day. You probably sell once or twice a year. In between, how are you going to manage your cash flows? So all those are important.
Once or twice a year?
It depends. For cattle, we might not be selling every day. It's not a product which is bought every day.
Every day.
Yeah, it's a product. Perhaps you sell once a quarter. Maybe out of the 300 we have wind, we probably want to sell 70 of them. So we sell them once, but it doesn't mean we are selling 70 every day.
Oh wow!
You know,
yes.
So you then need to be able to manage your cash flows. Obviously, discipline is across the board. Whether it's farming, whether it's in the security, it's the financial discipline. Looking after your obviously employees in a manner that they also feel they belong to the business. Preparing them with the requisite skills for them to know how to do their work well and produce better, and so on. So those are some of the things that one will require for farming or any other business for that matter.
This is VAT. How do you read me over?
We do alarms, we do electronic security solutions here, where we install alarms, we do rapid response services for homes and businesses across the country.
Most times people even find it difficult to run one business. How are you able to now run 2 different businesses in 2 separate sectors and run them successfully?
Well, I think first and foremost, I simply love what I do. If you love what you do, you can easily make a success of it. I love farming. I love working in the security sector because it puts me in a position that I talk to a lot of people. I employ more than 4,000 people, as you know. I have got an affinity of I'm a social butterfly. I like talking to people. I like just, conversing and laughing with people. My businesses put me in that space. In the security business, because I manage client relationships of the business. So all the key clients, I've got to be going to see them. I've got to be understanding where their pain points are, what we can do to make their business better, how we can seamlessly integrate our business with theirs. I love doing that. So if you love what you do, it's easy to make a success of it. So it's easy for me to traverse from putting on stiletto with lipstick, with, nice silk dress, and the next minute I'm in my overalls. The same day.
The farm.
Yes, I leave this place, say, on a Wednesday at 7 o'clock after I've dipped my kettle, in my gumboots, in my whatever. The next minute you see me at 12 o'clock, I'm in a high-powered meeting, well decked up.
Wow.
I can transform overnight, just like that. And I do it every week. Being able to run 2 businesses that are separate like I do, I have got systems to a level where I don't need to be a security call for even 6 weeks. Things can still move like clockwork. I can also not be here for 4 weeks. Things can still move like clockwork because there are systems, there's procedures, there are processes that are well documented. There are lines of authority that have got to be followed. One of the principles that any business should ensure that they have got highly engaged team members. If they are not highly engaged, if they are disengaged, I tell you the business can collapse.
What are some of the difficulties that you had when you were starting off?
I can tell you, when I started farming in 1992, the thinking in my mind was farming was about cropping. We had not understood that farming is a whole lot of other things. If you see all those cleared lands, I came and cleared and I plowed, I hired tractors, landers, I remortgaged my house, I put in a lot of money. 1992 was one of the worst droughts in this country and I lost big time.
Oh, wow.
I lost. Then I went back to the drawing board and I started talking to people and people said, but why were you cropping? Your area is not a cropping area, it's a livestock area. And I realized that the mistake I made was not to confer, was not to go and talk to the experts. If you think you know everything, you're wrong. You need to speak to experts. I almost lost my house. I almost went bankrupt. You know what? Look where we are today. I'm much bigger than anything that I would have ever imagined.
So falling down and having that big failure, how are you able to, some people, so if something like that happens to them, they just give up. What?
No, I didn't give up. I didn't give up. So I went back to my previous employer, my employer that I had resigned work. When I started farming, I said, oh, okay, I'm farming, I'm going to be farming, I'm going to be making a lot of money. There I am, I'm leaving employment. And little did I know it doesn't work like that in the world of business. So I went back and I said, things have not worked out the way I'd hoped for. So I need to come back. And my boss said, immediately come and sign, please, we want you back. Just before 2 years, I'd already started the idea of starting Securico. I went back to my boss, I said, you know what, this time I'm leaving, but I'm leaving for good.
Building in Africa, a lot of entrepreneurs I've talked to, they said it's difficult. What has your experience been like building in Zimbabwe?
So there have been challenges, and those challenges is about you working like a fox. You really need to manage in a way that you can change your strategic plan in 24 hours. There is a lot of innovation you need to be putting in your mind every day in terms of how you manage these challenges.
So you need to wear many hats. You need to be flexible.
Yes, too. You need to have that flexibility. You need to have that agility to be able to understand, right, we don't have foreign currency. How do I manage? We don't have enough power. How do we? So all that is very important for any business person to be managing.
Another question I have too is also, what's the secret of your fitness? Because I've seen you walk the whole length, and I'm like, even me that I walked with, I was tired. Even her, she was tired too. So, and do you mind me asking how old you are?
Oh yeah, I'm 63.
Wow, really? Really? Wow. So what's the secret? Do you exercise every morning? How do you stay fit?
For me, I live a very healthy lifestyle. What what I eat is very important. What I put in my body is very important. And when I'm out here, I exercise. I do minimum of 12,000 steps a day.
12,000 steps?
Yes, especially when I'm here. And it's not walking, it's productive walking. I'm walking, but I'm also working. I can go down to the deep there. I can go down this way to a dam. I can go up there where we've been to the poultry section. I can go to the fields. I will be constructing some houses over this side. In one day, I wake up at 6 o'clock. By the time I go to bed at 7 o'clock, I have walked in an average of 16,000 steps. My clock tells me that.
Can you give us an idea of like how much a bull costs generally?
Well, it depends. You know, bulls can vary anything from 1,000 to 50,000 USD. One bull.
50,000 USD for
50,000 for one bull.
Okay, I didn't know that. For one bull, really?
It depends. It's the genetics that you are buying. You're not buying the bull. I bought some of them for 4,000, 5,000. That will be the kind of average of bulls that you buy.
$5,000?
US dollars each. 3,000 is you are lucky to get good bulls at 3,000. But 4,000 or 5,000 is the kind of average price you get for bulls.
If you had like a chance to change something about Africa, what would you change?
I think what we need to do is to remove the selfishness, the greediness in some of our leaders, whether they are business or political leaders. I think that is one of the biggest issues that I see Africa has a problem with. That greediness is now brought in a lot of corruption to a level where things are bad. What we need to do in Africa is to really get leadership that is sincere, that is serious about moving their people ahead and moving people out of poverty.
What would you say young people like me can do to help Africa move forward?
Well, we want people that are hardworking, people that have got the right attitude towards what they do. If you've got passion for, say, animals, if you've got passion for farming, if you've got passion for anything that you've decided to do, then you work hard. That combination itself is magic. And if it means putting extra hours to work, by all means, please do so. So if you combine that, certainly our continent will go fast.
That's a perfect way to end this.
Yeah.
So guys, I'm going to put the links to the company in the description below. You export? Do you export?
We do.
So somebody from Nigeria can buy?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. So if you're in Nigeria or any country in Africa, you want to buy, livestock, or you want to enter into like the security business, or you have something that you want to reach out to them for, I'm going to put all their details in the description below. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.